Hello, everybody. Happy Friday. Hello, Jessica. So good to see you. I see a Megan. Megan, happy 1 year. Hello, Peter Brook, my friend. Happy 1 year to Megan's teachership. Yay, Megan. Hi, everybody. You're welcome, my dear. How's everybody? Happy Friday. Oh, I was going to pick a different background, but we'll go with the tree. This is what we have today. Hello, my dear friends and fellow seekers. Welcome if you're brand new. My name is Greg Phillips. I'm an energy reader, a channel, and a spiritual guide. Help people on the path to the heart. Today, we're having fun. It's just chit chat. We're doing what's called an AMA, Ask Me Anything. It's Q&A day. Hello, Jennifer. Good to see you. Hi, Jack. Likewise. Hello, hello. Hey, Joy. Wow, nice to see you. Welcome, welcome. How's everybody today? Happy Friday, unless, of course, you are one of our friends in the future, as I like to say. Happy Saturday morning. Good morning to you down under. I see a D. Hi, D. Welcome, everybody. Hi, Thomas. I am particularly thirsty today. Andrea, hello, welcome. You are really curious. Yes, I know. Did anyone see the intro? Brand new intro. It was fun. Who is Greg? What is Greg? Why is Greg? That's what we're here to find out today. Hi, Catherine. Good to see you. Megan is feeling excited and loving your energy, and that intro was fire. That was fire. Who created the phrase fire? It was on fire, and then they shortened it, right? Jessica, tell us all the things. We're going to do something different this month. We are going to use our trusty wheel, and we're going to let the universe... Well, actually, we're going to try that. Maybe it won't work. Hey, Thomas. Hi, Greg and friends. Happy Friday. I had a major breakthrough emotional release today. Congratulations, Thomas. Yay. It's a good time. Mercury retrograde is a good time to rethink, reconsider, review, revise, revisit, whatever. I had a major breakthrough on Monday as well. I am so happy for you. Congratulations. That is very, very cool. How's the music? Everybody hear it just fine? Love this song. This is the 999 Hertz Attract unexpected miracles and peace in your life. Ready for love, wealth, and blessings. Jack is fairly new here, but I watched your Q&A on another platform and loved it. I can't stay long tonight, unfortunately, but I just wanted to say you're incredible, and I can't wait to learn more from you. Oh, Jack, thank you. Welcome to our beautiful, loving circle, our community. It is nice to have you here. Yes, everybody can hear the music. Jennifer says it's beautiful. Hello, Rosie. Good to see you. Joy can hear it. Hey, John. Good to see you, buddy. Nice to have you here. John and Joy are fellow teachers, as so is Megan. If you have not checked them out on My Lives, we love propping up and supporting other teachers because that's just because there's no competition. There is no competition. We're all here on the mission to grow or spread love or whatever our individual or collective missions are. So yes, please do check out these beautiful people. See if you resonate with their work. Follow them. Watch and listen. Not watch, but listen to their tracks or whatever else that they have. Support our fellow teachers. Thomas now gets to celebrate with you all. Happy Friday. Yay. And he's talking to John. Jack, the vibration here is so beautiful, so full of love, compassion, and pure heart. You know, if you really liked the replay from the last Q&A, Jack, I would just keep checking out all the other replays. I mean, we've been at this mostly every week since December. And it's funny because I get to, when I watch the replays myself, I get to look and see how I have grown over the last, what is it now? This is August, 9+ months. Next month, September, is the 1 year anniversary of me saying yes to my calling. I am actually really excited about that. And 2 years prior to that, was when the spiritual counselor who I was seeing at that time prompted me to even remotely consider that I am a spiritual healer. So that's pretty exciting. Megan says, thanks for the support, Greg. I offer mindfulness community for change makers, live events, and welcome you all. Yes, Megan is on point with her support of change makers in the world. All right, my friends. Jennifer, wow, that's amazing. Congrats in your upcoming anniversaries. Yep, Megan's having her 1 year as a teacher. My 1 year will be in November. And I think we just crossed the 600 follower mark. I can't believe it. That'd be so cool. I don't know if it's possible. I would love to reach 1,000 by my 1 year. But then again, it's just a number. What's important is the feeling and the vibe that we have here today. TGIF to Peterbrook from Linda, but it's Saturday for her, so it's TGIS. Thank God it's Saturday, Peter. Hello, Inga. How was your first week of being back to work? How are you feeling? Are you getting integrated and balanced? Let me see. Am I going to do the wheel for this? Nah, we use the wheel all the time. Let's just do it. Let's just wing it. All right, my friends. I think I'm ready to answer anything. I'm telling you, you're allowed to ask me anything, but I'll do my best to answer it without embarrassing myself. I'm providing whatever my perspective is. So fire away. You're draining. You're not ready. Oh, my dear. Big hugs to Inga, everybody. It must be such an adjustment, especially during the end of Mercury retrograde. Mercury's slowing down and our thoughts are slowing down. I personally feel I'm waiting until next Wednesday when it's done. I'm holding off on any major decisions. I'm holding off on any ideas that I come up with, fully evaluating them. It's a very mentally sluggish time. Linda says, Greg, what's your dream job? Linda, you're going right for the jugular on that one, aren't you? What is my dream job? Well, I have to preface this and say, I am not someone who lives according to the well-planned life philosophy. I'm somebody who lives more according to the well-summoned or well-inspired life. So I do not typically operate under goals and plans. It's just who I am. I do operate well on goals with projects. My dream job is this. My dream job is this. I have a vision of holding space for hundreds of thousands of people all around the world. I have one particular vision of being on a stage or in a environment where hundreds of thousands of people are actually seated, if not also coming in online live, and just holding space for them to have a powerful, transformational, heart-opening experience. An experience of their own heart. And I came to Insight Timer not because I had a bunch of ideas about tracks or courses. I came to do lives. That's why I'm here, is to do lives. And I came to build a community, both in Insight Timer and outside of Insight Timer, and to, like I said, reach. I don't know how many people. We're not going to set a limit. That's up to the universe. That's up to, I answered the call of my gift, and I'm allowing it to unfold. But I always return to this image that I have had. It's more of a feeling. It's not so much a picture it's sort of a picture, but it's more of a feeling. And I've had this for decades. I have had this vision for decades. And it feels right. It feels me. It feels natural. And it's just the energy in the room is like this, but even more so. And that's why I love doing lives. And that's why I even more love doing Zooms. And when I do actually do in-person stuff, I'm gonna love that too. And it's all just part of why I'm here. So this is a really good direct question, Linda. Does that answer your question? Okay, thanks. Seems you're living your dream job already then. You do have a compelling space for us. Oh, I'm glad to hear that, Linda. Yeah, I mean, and it's an unfolding thing. It's a calling. It's a vocation. I am continuing to hold the vibration of this 100% supporting me in my lifestyle. Yeah. If you're asking what's my dream job in terms of a job, there's so many possible things that I would really enjoy doing. Tour guide. I'd love to be a tour guide. I love teaching people. I love learning technology and teaching people that. In fact, I'm doing that next week. Next week, I'm teaching classes on OBS for fellow teachers. If anyone who's here is a teacher who's not in our Facebook group, definitely reach out to me if you're wanting to learn OBS. We're going to have some classes next week. So actually, I'm not going to have any lives next week because all of my online stuff's going to be helping the other teachers. You do come back time after time, and apparently people come back time after time to listen to my tracks. IT recently just released information about return rate, and I was quite pleased. Only one of mine was low. All the others were an 82% or higher return rate. Linda, you'd be great at tours, sort of what you do here. Yeah, I'm kind of a tour guide for people's spiritual experience. That's my silly way to say what I do. I'm a tour guide for your spiritual journey. All right, what else did we miss? Jessica says, tell us about Greg 30 years ago. 30 years ago to Greg now. Oh, okay. Let's see, Jess. 30 years ago. What year was that? Somebody do the calendar math for me. 30. You're welcome, Linda. Thank you for asking that. Yes, I'm getting that, Jessica. Awesome. Yeah, John. Yeah. Sorry. What is OBS? Oh, I keep hearing about this. Oh, yeah. OBS is a streaming software. It allows you to stream so that you can use virtual backgrounds like mine by combining it with Zoom, or text overlays, or what I'm doing right now, playing music from a YouTube channel into the stream so you guys can hear it and I can hear it. And I'm also recording this at the same time. And if you came in a little after the very beginning, I have intro and outro videos. And so the recording is a complete ready to upload file to my YouTube so that folks have a replay library. That's OBS. Is very, very powerful. There's lots of crazy stuff. Yeah, what I'm doing is more advanced than what I'm going to be teaching next week, but I'm going to be teaching quite a lot of the basics to this, like how to set up the mic so that it prevents plosives, like what we try to do when we record our audio tracks, John, our courses, but to actually do it for the live stream. So just lots of great little stuff like that. So definitely check out the Facebook group for that, or write to me and I'll send you the link. All right, Jess, your question. Jessica said, in the summary of today's session, you mentioned your spiritual journey over 30 years. That's why I picked that. Oh, okay. And Jennifer says, we're grateful to be in on the ground floor of your meteoric rise. Thank you, Jennifer. And thank you to everybody who donated in July. That's been my best revenue month yet. I made $220. It's significant to me. I'm still on food stamps, so that $220 is quite significant. So I thank you for sharing your abundance with me. So Jessica's question, 30 years ago, I was 30. believe it or not. I know I act really young, but that's because I'm a goofball and I've been meditating for over 30 years. I truly attribute healthy living and meditation to just high vibration and everything to feeling good and looking good at 60. So 30 years ago was really interesting. Let's see, that would have been, I spent my 20s floundering in terms of career and not knowing what to do, just working odd jobs and really feeling unfulfilled. And I spent my 20s doing a lot of 12-step work on myself, which that lasted 20 years, and I'm no longer in them, haven't been for a while. But so at 30, I was kind of on the cusp of ready for kind of a big spiritual shift. And I ended up meeting probably what I would consider my very first spiritual teacher. He taught Buddhism, Tibetan Buddhism, Zen Buddhism, a bunch of other stuff. And he was also very sort of, he's kind of crossed between esoteric and very practical. So he really helped me learn about seeing everything as a path to enlightenment. And at the time, I really, really was motivated towards enlightenment. It's not so much something that I talk about. I haven't talked about that really in years. It's not really how I think. Back then, enlightenment to me was a destination. So I mean, I knew it was more than a destination. I knew it was a state of being, but I didn't understand things, vibration, frequency, stuff like that back then. I just hadn't been introduced to it. I didn't understand the expansiveness of the universe the way that I have now. Not that I'm 100% there, and I also didn't have any real goals for myself. I was pretty much adrift in life. Not the first time and not the last time I've experienced that. But when I met him and started meditating with him, I had my very first profound energetic experiences. We would sit in a large hall and meditate with him, and I don't know 100% whether he was enlightened, but I felt like in my heart that was true. And very frequently this what I'm about to tell you would happen when meditating with him. And a lot of people around me later on, when we get refreshments, were talking about, wow, did you see, I could see his past lives, and I saw images of him from doing different things, and I saw all these different colors and stuff. And I used to wear glasses, and I was not very good at seeing things, even though I was visually oriented in my work, which was always interesting. But what I was really good at was feeling things. And so when we sat in meditation with him, I could not identify or relate to anyone who was talking about what they had seen. But what I felt like every single cell of my body was being exploded, like my whole body was being blown into smithereens, just exploding every single cell, and then coming right back in again and being reorganized. And he would talk about how energetically he would use energy to restructure us and reorganize us, basically up level us. And it was a profound experience for me. It was the very first time I had any sort of deep metaphysical or energetic experience. It's the first time that I ever realized that there was more to perceive than what we look at in life. So that was me 30 years ago. That was not the start of my spiritual journey, but that was about 7 years into it. Yeah. Great question, Jess. Chantel, Greg, would you not consider doing something like OBS privately as your own business? I know it wouldn't be suitable for Insight Timer teachers, but just a thought. It would be suitable for Insight Timer teachers. There's a lot that could be done with OBS, and I have thought of that, Chantel. Thank you. In fact, you're not the first one to suggest that to me. So I have set the intention that if that is what the universe wishes for me, it is something that I would be really, really excited to do. I love this kind of technology, and I'm really good at learning it, and I'm really good at teaching it. So, and I have fun, and I make it fun. So I love that idea. Thank you, Chantel. Thank you for, again, you're like the dozenth person who've mentioned this. So yeah, I think we're onto something there. We'll find out soon. All right, now I'm waiting for Mercury retrograde to end, and then I'm going to teach next week's classes. And I'm hopeful people will be looking for more help, because it's a complex software, and it requires, depending on people's technical abilities, requires some hand-holding. Oh, Chantel, great idea. Peter Brooks says, I'd love to know what you were like as a kid, what you enjoyed doing, playing with, favorite pastimes. Okay, that is a great question, Peanut Buttercup. Thomas says, what I was like as a kid. I was very young. No. I was very innocent and naive. So I have a theory. I loved drinking water back then as much as I do now. Or I should say I do now as much as I did then. I had a theory that I was born incredibly spiritually sensitive. If I had been born into say Chinese, Japanese, or Tibetan culture, I probably would have been identified by the monks at a young age and been brought to the monastery. But I didn't have anybody who knew about that stuff. I was born to a very not spiritual, but very religious family. I grew up Catholic, and my parents even dabbled in like ecclesiastic or whatever, kind of broader minded, more woo. Back then it would have been considered woo-woo Christianity. But yeah, as a kid, I just loved to play. I liked to play games. I was into Atari when it first came out, Pong. We played a lot of games in the family. We played cards, Risk, Monopoly, Chutes and Ladders. We played lots of different cards. We played ping pong. I loved pool. For some reason, pool was just absolutely fascinating to me. Billiards, basically. Speaking of pool, I was deathly afraid of the water, of swimming, but I love water. It's just really, really bizarre. And I'm a Pisces, so I have a natural acclimation to water, but I was really scared to go underwater. It was really, I think maybe there was like a past life trauma or something with that. But as a kid, I just wanted to play. I was all about playing games. When I was a little bit older, I spent my summer making up a make-believe world. This was shortly after I started reading, and I was reading things like Chronicles of Narnia and Lord of the Rings and just like fantasy, sci-fi type stuff. And I drew on paper the chronology of this make-believe world that I called Shasta. And I drew a map. And every time something changed, like one warlord conquered another, I would redraw the map. And this was back in the days before copiers, and we were using carbon paper to copy things. And so every time I changed the map, I'd have to use the carbon paper and rewrite it and redo it and everything. And so I was very, very creative, and I felt like nobody understood me. I was very scared. I'm feeling sad just thinking about that little boy, but I've reframed a lot of it now over time. But I was a very scared child. I was scared of what everybody thought. I was scared of girls. It's funny. I just was scared of everybody and everything. And at age 6, I was a normal weight kid until age 6. And then at age 6, my weight started ballooning, and I was very, very heavy as a young kid, and I was heavy in high school. And it wasn't until I bottomed out and got help when I was 23 or 4, I forget when, 1986, and got help around food addiction that I started to begin to allow the body that I was always meant to have to start to come out. So yeah, as a kid, I was just, there was a lot. I mean, I think the bottom line, Peter, is that as a kid, I was kind of living in my own world. I was connected to something bigger and didn't know it. And nobody around me the only person that ever saw me for who I really was my grandma Mimi. She would frequently tell me I'm handsome, and she was just so loving and supportive. And whereas everybody else was like, Greg's weird. I mean, they wouldn't say it to my face, but I'd see it on their face. Do you know what I mean? Or like one friend said in a September when we started school again, what would you do all summer? And I showed him all the maps and the chronology. I was like 5 pages worth of those old like school note lined page sheets of paper. And he just looked at me with this puzzled look like, you did that all summer? Like he didn't understand. So people didn't understand me. I spent many, many years after that struggling, looking for understanding outside of myself, which never works. And and I still have moments where I feel like people don't understand me or don't get me, and then I return to, well, I don't really give a crap what they think. And there's times that I do, and most of the time I don't. So yeah, Linda, this week can be scary. Yeah, girls were scary back then. Yeah, they were really scary. Hello, Kimmy. Welcome to you. Good to see you. What a time, indeed. Melinda. Jessica said, Greg, where did you grow up? I grew up in Rochester, New York. I was born in Albany, New York. And then 6 months later, we moved back to Rochester, New York, where my brother and sister were born. So that's where I grew up. And that is where I recently was living for 12 years again. And I hope to never go back. I'm sorry to anybody like Nancy or anyone in the area, but it is not my thing. Oh, Peter says, thanks so much, Greg. Relate to quite a lot. Love your kind of weird. It's mine too. Right on, sister. Appreciate you so much. And that was a fun question. Jennifer says, I like weird. It's creative. I'm okay with being weird now. I like being unique. It's interesting because mentally being unique, there's a challenge. Mentally, not emotionally or in the heart, right? But being unique means sometimes the mind thinks, ooh, that's different. I don't fit in. Well, guess what? I'm unique. I want to be unique. I value being unique. Being unique means that you don't necessarily fit into the norm. So it's been a long process of acceptance around that, and it's probably a continual one, but more often than not. And then you know what? Instead of just worrying about it, look what I've done. I've gone and become, somebody on Insight Timer and bringing people together to enjoy heart-opening transformational experiences. And you know what? We're all going to be weird and unique together. So amen to that. I love that. Melinda is driving. Please be careful. Kimmy, weird question mark. I'm in the right place. Fantastic. All right. Jennifer asks question I know you guys are, when I'm answering, I'm looking at the camera and I'm not seeing questions. So I appreciate anybody grabbing them. Linda, brutal winters, you won't miss that. I won't. My body feels so much better in the warmth and heat. Jessica wrote, winter has oddly not been bad in the Northeast for 2 years. Oh, yeah, that's true. Michigan is mild? Oh, that's weird. All right, where's Jess's other question? Jennifer remembers carbon paper. I loved it. I copied everything. I did too, but it was messy. It got all over my fingers. Icky. It is a blast from the past, Linda. Where was Jessica's other question? Jessica, would you please write it again? You didn't have another. Oh. Who else has a question? Jennifer, when did you first encounter the council? Oh, Jennifer had the question. And I asked, how did you know there were 7? Ooh, now we're going to talk about the council. Okay. So, a little backstory. A little over 15 years ago, let's see, what was this? I'm really bad at calendar math. Around 2006, 2007, I moved to Los Angeles from San Francisco. And my first year or so there, a friend of mine from San Francisco sent me a book by Esther and Jerry Hicks called Ask and It Is Given. Now, the title made me think that it was about the Bible. And by then, I had stopped reading anything religious for about 20 years. And she said, no, trust me, I think you'll really like it. Well, it happened to be all about the law of attraction. And it blew my mind because it was the first time I had ever encountered the concept or notion of a channeled entity, although Esther doesn't really call herself a channel. But the introduction of Abraham to me was quite profound, and it was the first time I had ever read anything where I felt absolute love, deep wisdom, no judgment, even in reading the things that I found a little challenging. There was no judgment, and what really impressed me, absolutely zero human ego. And I don't know how I knew that, but I'm sitting there reading this book, having my mind blown wide open. And I knew, I got goosebumps, or as some folks call them, truth bumps. And I knew that everything that Abraham was sharing with us through that book was true. And it answered questions that I'd had most of my life up to that point. It answered questions about things I hadn't even asked. And I was hooked. And right around that time, about a couple months after, a dear friend of mine from the dance practice that I used to attend in LA, she found out I liked Abraham and had been attending their workshops in Los Angeles because Esther and Jerry went to Los Angeles all the time. And she said, oh, I have this friend locally who channels this guy named Dr. Peebles, who is so loving and so funny and so kind. And I began to go see this person and become friends with her. And she channeled Dr. Peebles, and I was introduced to him, and I felt like he was my first spirit guide. And he taught me about spirit guides. He taught us about spirit guides. And he told me I was a channel. And at the time, this was like 15, 16 years ago, I was like, huh? I had a sense of what a channel was at that point. I mean, there's my friend, and she was channeling him. And I was like, I don't do that. And so I chewed on that for a number of years. And over the 15 years that passed, I began to realize through that time period that I was a channel for love. So I wasn't a channel for an individual being or a group of beings like Abraham. I was a channel for love. And so when I first started to recognize my gift of being able to read people's chakras, what I called chakra touch for a while, I still call it that, but I don't really use it too often. I use the gift, I don't use the word. But that's when I started to realize that when I tapped into people's chakras, I wasn't giving any energy and I wasn't taking any energy. I was literally opening myself up to love, to source, and allowing that to come through, and then me being a tour guide of the person's own energy, right? So then I launched on Insight Timer last November with a couple tracks, and I started lives in December. In my meditations, and I've been meditating for decades now, in my meditations around that time, I could feel my awareness expanding. And a couple months into that, so earlier this year, I felt what I called someone knocking. So I felt like someone was knocking. So I was in touch with a variety of my guides already. And so in doing lives with you guys, when I was channeling, I felt like I was channeling from love and from source with some of my guides' assistants, right? But this notion this feeling that someone or something was coming and was knocking on my door, it was fascinating and it was intriguing. It was a little bit of fear, but it was more of like that curious/anxious fear, not like, ooh, I'm trepidation or anything. It was just a little bit. And I reached a point where I said, all right, who's there? Basically, I was like, come on in. Like, who's there? And that's when the council came to me. They came to me in a meditation. I saw them on a cloud floating over my head. They were in cloaks and hoods, and they were just sort of over my head, and I could feel that they were a group. And I didn't know at the time they were 7, but our dear friend here, Peter Brook, when I first told the story of how they came to me, she was inspired to draw, was it to draw or did you paint it, Peter? I think you drew it. To draw a picture of them, and it was exactly how I had pictured them, and it was a sketch, okay. And in the sketch, there were 7, and I knew then that it was the Council of 7. About a month after that, so I'm guessing, I don't remember the exact date, and I don't journal anymore, so I didn't super keep track of it. I don't know, Peter, do you remember? Did you put a date on the sketch? Let me look. Did you put a date on the sketch? I feel like you maybe put a date on the sketch. Yeah, I don't even remember. You emailed it to me. One moment, guys. I've got to look for this now because this is a really good question. What day it was. But I don't even know where I stored it. I don't know where I stored it. I'll have to look. Maybe you can find it in the original sketch, Peter. Anyways, about a month later, in a meditation, they came out of the cloud and started circling around my head. So I started calling them the circle. And while they were circling around my head, they were, and this was in meditation, they were shooting these laser thin rainbow colored beams. And when I talk about rainbow colored, the entirety of the beam of energy was all the different colors of the rainbow, very much kind of like our beautiful tree here, which is one of the reasons I love this virtual background. So it was like a rainbow. It wasn't like bands of light. It was more like, it was more like helixes where the colors of the rainbow were sort of twisting, and it was really laser thin, and they were all of them like beaming these laser beams of light and energy at basically my third eye of the entirety of my headspace, my mind space, right? And I could feel that they were up leveling me, they were calibrating me. And then about a month later, they dropped down and were circling around my heart, and they would do the same thing. And so they were calibrating my heart chakra. And all along, I felt like they've been sort of calibrating my energy for something really, really big. And I don't know what, but about 2 weeks ago, I was on my walk, and I asked them, because I talk to my guides and to the council while I'm walking sometimes. And that particular day, I could feel them really strongly. And I said, why me? You know, that lovely why me question, right? The thing that we sometimes ask our friends, partners, and other people that we're in relationship with, right? Why me? And they said, because your life experience is appropriate for the message that we have, for understanding the message that we have for humanity. And I was like, that's cool. Wow. My life, with all its difficulties and all of its joys, all of its suffering and all of its celebration, actually is appropriate for understanding a big message for the rest of humanity. I can get on board with that. I'm okay with that. I'm pretty good with that, actually. And so they've been working with me more and more. In fact, they're the ones who mentioned to me that going to Sedona would be a good idea. I'm not planning on moving there anymore. There's just too many logistics, but I do feel called to visit it. But there's lots of other, as Melinda pointed out to me in a Zoom that we were on, there's lots of other beautiful energy places around the world, and I know that. So, so that's how I was introduced to the council. Now, another interesting fact with the council is I'm not 100% sure. I think we're going to find out soon, but I'm not 100% sure, but I think there are Arcturians. Let me spell that. That is a really good question, Thomas. Arcturian. So I think they're from Arcturus, and at first I thought the 7 meant the count of how many of them there are, but they've recently told me, when I was on my walk again, I asked what the 7 meant, and they said the 7 is not the count of how many we are, it is the count of the energies that we represent. We're actually many, many in count. And so there's way more than 7 of them. And I don't know I've heard of other councils from Arcturus. I don't know if these are the same ones. I've never heard of the Council of Seven, and I don't do too much research on it. But I kind of feel like I have invited this. Also, Thomas, this relates to the healing work that I did with you, or that you did for me, in that memory that I had when I was 4. I'm actually quite curious whether they were visiting me. And because I was too young to understand and had no guidance from adults, or much less acceptance, that I interpreted it more from a child's view. How do I hear them? Thanks, Jennifer. You're welcome. Thanks for asking. I do love them, and they love us very, very much. I mean, are they a they? No, I mean, it's just source. Are they a they? They probably are a they, but they are energetic. So they're part of source, just like all of us. So it's really just loving us. But yeah, how do I hear them? I don't actually hear sounds. I don't hear voices. I get feelings. I kind of feel like they send me like a block of energy, and it's like there's information encoded in it, and then it's up to me to decipher that and interpret it. And the fascinating thing is, it doesn't feel that difficult. I have to wait sometimes, because sometimes it's just like when you guys ask questions during readings and I'm channeling from them, sometimes you're not in the right space to hear all the information that's coming through. So you'll notice that sometimes when I'm actually giving answers, I'm kind of slowly walking you through the concept. It's not intentional. I mean, it's semi-intentional, but it's not intentional in terms of like Greg is sitting here saying, "Oh, they're not ready for this yet, so we've got to walk them through it." It's more like I get the entirety of the information, and then I deliver a bit of it, a piece at a time to you. Other people are ready for all that information at once, and sometimes we're just in a place where we're not. Sometimes we have to chew on a concept. We have to walk around it. We have to visit with it. We have to sit with it for a while. And then once you're kind of like in the vibration, because basically what's happening when that goes on is when I'm answering your questions that way, when we're doing readings, then again, this is not intellectually happening to me. I just know it's happening, but I'm explaining it to you guys so that you can kind of understand the energetic dynamic, because there's a lot of really freaking cool things going on, right? So if you're not quite in the right space, let's say maybe you're asking a question that's coming from a very difficult place, or you're kind of in a lower vibe or frequency, and that's fine. We're all different frequencies at different times, right? What's basically happening is we kind of chew on and we explore and we look at certain topics, right, in order to raise your vibration, to get your frequency up to the level of what the information's frequency is, right? And then at that point, then the whammies and the big reveals and all that can kind of come through, and therefore it's sort of like it's like a tour guide. I'm guiding you on the process of reaching a point where you can deepen your understanding, where you can more deeply understand a concept that might come through that I may not even understand at the moment either, right? Or that I might need to hear as well sometimes. That's quite frequently the truth. And so it's an energetic process, right? And there's so much more to that. I don't know how to explain it. There's just so much more to that going on when that happens. And like I said, it's not intellectual, it's not cognizant, it's not something I'm controlling. And I'm really just opening up to source and allowing the infinite wisdom that lives in our hearts already, my friends, to come through, and then to deliver it in a compassionate and loving way, because, and also, as somebody said once, firm but loving. So Jessica, yeah, since it's 7, they might relate to the chakras. I have asked them what energies they represent. I have clearly been given the answer of love, and I'm not sure of the others yet. And I figured they will reveal them. Now, here's the fascinating thing. maybe 14 or 15 years ago, in sitting with Dr. Peebles, the first spirit guide I told you guys about, I asked him about love because I'd been hearing from him and Abraham and others at the time that love is the highest vibration, the highest frequency that is accessible to us as humans right now on the planet, or at least back then. And that the way that has always been phrased always made me think, well, is there something higher than love? And I felt like there was, but I wanted to know what. So I asked Dr. Peebles. He said there is absolutely frequencies and vibrations higher than love. Right now, humanity cannot perceive those, and they need to reach the 4D, 5D love vibration and consistently be there, right? And that is why for the last 15 plus years, we have basically every day been being called to choose either love or fear. That's the basic it. If there's like an it about life right now, my friends, that's it. Every single thing that you are experiencing is a call to either choose love or choose fear. And that's what Dr. Peebles taught me about. And he said, once we reach a point where enough people are choosing love on a consistent basis, we're going to reach a point in society where those who are choosing love and those who are choosing fear, if they were to pass in the grocery store, they would not be able to see each other. And I actually feel like we're approaching that soon. And that's what I'm hearing from people like what Bashar has been talking about lately. I just saw a stream with him on a podcast. I love Daryl. He's just so cool. So what was that all about? It could be the 7 chakras, but I have a feeling that it is the energies above and beyond love. So we're in for a wild ride. There's more info there. We're not ready to receive it, I guess. I'm not ready to receive it. Maybe I am. I don't know if I am. I don't feel like I am. But yeah, it could be the 7 chakras. It could be. And then again, like, we're dealing with energy, right? We're dealing with the infinite. We're dealing with the eternal wisdom that lives in source and lives in our hearts. And there's so much, like, we could try and classify it, but can we really? Like, maybe it is the chakras, maybe it's the chakras and these other energies we don't know about yet. Who knows? So I'm looking forward to finding out. April 26th. Okay, cool. So late April is when the council came to me. Because that's when, thank you, Peter, for looking that up. Spiritual guidance mentoring. That's a nice name. I don't know what I'll call it. I'm calling it loving guidance. I'm calling it what I do. Hi, Cindy Crow. Good to see you. Mind blown. A frequency higher than love. I know, right? And that's the cool thing, right? If there is a frequency to higher than love, personally, I'd like to know what it is. I'd like to experience it. I'd like to, and I know that, but first we have to get there. It's kind of like how kiddos have to, crawl before they can walk, and then walk before they can run, So yeah, this is the kind of stuff that I love talking about. Just kind of, for me, this is casual spiritual conversation. It's talking about frequencies higher than love. I think it's even bigger than Christ consciousness, but yeah, Christ consciousness is another word. Yeah, I love that stuff. Hello. What should we do if we are trapped in fear, triggered by... Oh, I'm not doing readings. I'm actually doing a Q&A. But let me see if there's a little bit of wisdom for you right now. What should we do if we're trapped in fear, triggered by difficult experiences? Does it cause the shift from love to fear? Got it. So that's actually related to what I said. So I am going to answer that. And I said you could ask me anything. So I guess that's legit. So I'm trying to think of let's see what they have to say. Guides and counsels. So we know that's a the answer to this is very multi-leveled. So the first piece is to do whatever you can to not fall prey to the myth of separation. And the myth of separation is the block associated with the crown chakra. Okay, so the crown chakra is the energy of connecting to the divine, connecting spiritually. And when we live our lives from our minds, it's all too easy to think of ourselves as separate from the divine, separate from source, and therefore also separate from everyone else. And fear is basically just, as human beings, when we experience it, it feels all consuming and all encompassing. But if we can step back for a moment and just look at it as an indicator, to be more objective about it, if you will, to not pass judgment when we're feeling it, and to just recognize that when I'm feeling fear, when I'm feeling sad, when I'm feeling depressed, when I'm feeling angry, when I'm feeling anything that you could call a negative emotion, take the word negative away, but it's hard to talk about it without duality, unfortunately, because that's the mind's favorite topic is duality. But whenever we're feeling that, the important thing is to recognize that it is simply an indicator of what we are focusing on with our mind. And so the way to shift off of the fear and into love is to retrain your mind, and little bit at a time, find new thoughts, new things to focus on, until you begin to get a whiff of feeling better. And once you get a whiff of hope or contentment, or even just feeling a little bit better, then you're kind of you're allowing yourself to flow with the stream of life, right? So fear and all the other things, they come from being resistant to what is naturally happening for us. Our natural state of being is love. We were born as love. We were born from love. We are source. We are source energy manifested in a physical body. And when we think that this physical body and all these situations and life experiences are reality, honestly, the mind is pulling the wool over your eyes in that case. And I mean, I had this beautiful quote that came to me the other day. I'm going to read it again because of this, because I think that it is really appropriate for your question on this. So reality, quote unquote, is just a set of beliefs that 30% or more of the population has agreed upon. That doesn't make them, quote unquote, true. It doesn't even make them, quote unquote, right. That just makes them common, frequent, and ordinary. So chew on that the next time your mind or someone else tells you to be, quote unquote, realistic. So the point of that is, if you think what is happening around you is real, if you think this body is real, if the body is in pain, if the life experience is struggling and difficult, and believe me, I am not, I'm subject to this as well. This happens to me just as well. So I can talk about this because I've practiced for a while on getting out of those states. But it really comes down to setting an intention and a commitment to yourself. And it's a really simple one. I did this years ago. I did this in 2008. I woke up one morning. I was in the beginning of complete financial collapse. And, I was hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt already. And it got even worse after that. And I was miserable, and I was always hanging on to the next happening, the next deal, the next, trying to finagle my way to get the next bit of money to come in. Just really, it was not a good experience. And I was out on a walk, love those walks. I was out on a walk, and I was just feeling absolutely downtrodden. I was feeling lost and confused and scared and depressed and worried, and just was all in the low vibe emotions. And I had been reading Abraham and visiting with Abraham, and been visiting with Dr. Peebles for over a year, maybe 2 years by then. And I'd always heard the most important thing is to be happy. And I was on my walk, and I realized I don't give a crap about any of these deals, any of these job things I've been trying for. I just want to be happy. I just want to feel good. I want to feel better than I do now. And that's when I realized that it was simply a matter of deciding and setting the intention. And so ever since then, and I forget, but ever since then, it has been my intention. There's a beautiful quote or a saying from Abraham. Today, no matter what I'm doing, no matter where I'm going, no matter who I'm doing it with, it is my dominant intention, or is my primary intention, to find reasons to feel good. And this is the task, Em, is to find reasons to feel good. And when you need a tool, I've got 2 tracks that are great for it. The Love Bomb, as people here will attest to. The Heart Teach My Mind is a great practice as well. They don't have to be mine. John could have something. Megan could have something. Any of these teachers, right? Joy could have something. Find something that helps you feel better, and every day commit to looking. This is the right way to use the mind, to look for evidence, to look for reasons to feel good. And they don't have to be even related to the things you're struggling with. When your body is hurting, the worst thing to do is continue to focus on the hurting body. Find evidence of something that feels good as you're sitting eating your pancakes or drinking your smoothie or enjoying your supper or looking into your partner's eyes and appreciating them, or playing and petting your critter that you dearly love. These are moments in our life that are evidence of the vibration of love. You may not be able to connect with it right away. In fact, you do not want to jump from fear to love. You can't do that. That's fooling yourself. You have to go incrementally. Get pissed off first. If you're scared, get pissed off first, because you're probably either sad or mad at something or someone, probably yourself as well. So get pissed first, because then at least there's movement, there's motion to that energy, right? Energy, emotion, energy in motion. There's so much more I could say about that, but that's kind of the, yeah, that's the download, Em. I hope that helps. Yeah, disconnection from source energy. You're getting it. What did I miss? You guys were, the chat was just cruising. Yeah, there's also a large part of the brain, Thomas says, that apparently we don't use. Yeah, and maybe we will someday. Wouldn't that be cool? Nicole had the same question. That's awesome. I love that. I'm glad Em asked so that we could get help for everybody today. Thank you, Carolyn. Thank you for sharing your abundance with me. Look, evidence of goodness. Carolyn shared money with me. Evidence of something to feel good about. It's right there. Who cares how much it was? It's just a dollar. It's not dollar. It's just numbers. The number of zeros behind it doesn't mean anything except to the banks and the bank statement. The gift that she gives. That's why I celebrate donations now. I used to ask for them, but I thank you and I celebrate them now because you're sharing with me. You're sharing your love. You're sharing your abundance with me, and I greatly appreciate it. Rosie, that meditation is very great, Greg. Love me, heart teach my mind. I'm glad you're enjoying it, Rosie. Thank you, Jennifer, for your donation too. I appreciate you sharing your abundance with me so that we can celebrate goodness all together. Kimmy, you did a drawing too? Kimmy, you drew 7? That's so cool. Nicole says, speaking of love and fear, do you ever feel fear when connecting with the council? I do not, Nicole. There's just love. There's so much love, and there's humor. Sometimes they giggle. Sometimes they laugh with us when we ask them certain questions. You mean, how does it feel when you connect with them? Do they make you feel safe? I feel incredibly loved and safe and secure. It's like the best friends you could ever have. I mean, there's so much love and so much safety. I feel a sense of belonging. I feel connected with them. I feel like they're like, I mean, this is a cool concept I've never thought of. So I'm channeling them for you guys, and I'm channeling source, and I'm channeling love. But I feel like they're channeling the higher vibrations for me. They just said yes. I just felt a huge yes. So they're actually those higher vibrations, higher frequencies that we were talking about, the ones that are higher than love, they're in touch with them. And so they are the medium and the channel and the conduit, right, for those to us. Whereas we are the people, we are the conduits and the channels of love for those here on the planet, right? That's cool. I love that. Not that there's a hierarchy, but that there's a flow, that goes even beyond what we're perceiving. I really, really love that. Hi, Joanne, you made it. Good to see you. John says the extraordinary happens when you close your eyes and turn your attention inward. That is beautiful. Thank you. Joanne says, exactly, Greg. I know this all too well. I bet you do, my dear. Cindy Crow, while listening to Greg, a snake slithered out under my feet. Oh my God. That's cool. Thomas, don't be afraid to feel it in your body too, Em. We need to process those emotions and not ignore them. Life outside us has that habit, if not allowed us time to process, because we have this, that, and the other to do and responsibilities. Yes, I totally agree with Thomas. One of the most important things to do is to just embrace and accept what is as what's exactly happening right now. You don't have to like it. You don't have to even prefer it. You don't have to resign yourself to it. But you do need to embrace it. And I don't even talk in terms of acceptance much anymore. I love the notions and the concepts of embracing and allowing. Allowing is huge. And there's so much more we could say. Hi, Michelle. Good to see you. Welcome, welcome. You guys have so much wisdom all on your own, and I love this. This is great. Cindy says, exactly. I picked up a dime and 2 nickels today and thanked the universe for the $20,000 with heart eyes. I love that. Snake is a message of transformation. Cindy, thank you. I really appreciate that. Joanne was doing an abundant sleep meditation the other night, and the next day I had won $21 on birthday lotto ticket. Woohoo! I praised and thanked the divine. Yeah, and you know what? You really want to find something to look for that feels good? Just attend a live. There's plenty of evidence of love right here. And you don't have to be specific. If you're struggling with money, if you're struggling with romance, just look for evidence of the goodness of life. Look for the evidence of the beauty of life. Look for the evidence of love. And honestly, I mean, seriously, try my love bomb, because just bombarding your heart with different people, places, and things that you love, I mean, it can be powerfully transformative. And that's very similar to Abraham's. I created that based on Abraham's rampage of appreciation exercise or game. I mean, it's all just games. We're all just trying to get our mind to stop running the show so that we can listen to our heart and listen to our wisdom and listen to our emotions and then go from there. Yay, Joanne, you're here and your fortunes are on the up. Yeah. Kimmy, yes, 7, but lots of others behind it that you can't see. It was done in a shiny, inky metallic. Wow, I'm freaked out, but feel a connection somehow. Yeah, absolutely. I love that. That is so cool. Yep, Joanne said it beautifully and perfectly. Absolutely, these lives here have put so much abundance into my life. All right. Other questions for me? This is fun. I hope you guys are enjoying it. It's a little bit like put Greg on the spot, but I'm the one who came up with the idea, so I'm putting myself on the spot. Joanne, yes, I'm here on my recovery bike looking at beautiful spring flowers, indeed. I pick my virtual backgrounds based on how they feel. there's a little bit of visual theory behind it because I'm fair-skinned and light-haired, like colored hair. It's important for the virtual background to actually have some darkness as well so that I'm visible. But otherwise, I pick the virtual backgrounds because of how they feel, how they make me feel. Carolyn, you may have answered this already. How can we tap into our guides more? Good question, Carolyn. I love that. I'm going to take credit for that. I think the first thing for me, I can just share my experience. The first step for me was meeting them through somebody else. That's always an option. I like to do journeys where we go and meet them ourselves. In fact, I'm considering starting to do those again in September. I used to do, for a couple months, I used to do a journey called Spirit Walk, where I would take us into our heart space and we could actually meet our guides there. So in my belief system, I love to envision and believe that they live in my heart. The heart has been said to be the portal of the soul and the seat of the soul. And that's why living from our mind never is going to get us anywhere, because the mind is in the 3D. The mind is the how do I say this? Help me out here, guys. The mind is the energetic expression of the 3D. The energetic expression of the physical that we live in. It is the body's highest attempt at connection, but it doesn't go past the third dimension. It doesn't go past the vibrations that are associated with the body. In fact, the cells are very much in response. What they do is in response to what we think and what we focus on. So this is a system, right? The heart lives in a space where how do I say this? The heart exists in multiple dimensions. It's not only in our body, but it's the portal to the higher dimensions. It's the portal to the higher frequencies, right? And so part of the heart is learning our emotions, not shirking from them, learning how to express them, learning how to embrace them, learning how to befriend them, learning how to listen to them, learning how to recognize when an emotion, to understand that the emotions are our GPS. Abraham talks about it as the emotional guidance system. It is the GPS. But as humans, imagine the GPS in your car or on your phone, and when you take a wrong turn, the GPS says, "You schmuck, you weren't supposed to take a left. You should have taken a right. Why the hell did you do that? You never get things right. Oh my God, when are you going to figure life out," right? That's what the mind does, right? But a GPS in a car doesn't do that. It simply adjusts, realigns, and directs you back on a new course to get to the same goal. So the GPS never judges. So if we can reach a place mentally, which is not always easy, but if we can reach a place mentally where we can do that with our emotions, right? So if you are sad or fearful, the very root of suffering isn't the fear or the sadness. The root of suffering is piling on the judgment and the stories on top of that. That's where you suffer. When your body is hurting, it's pain. When your mind is analyzing, creating stories, judging, resisting, like avoiding, that's the suffering. So it's understanding those different tiers, but at a really simple level, just accepting the emotion as an indicator of whether or not the way we're focused, the way we're thinking right now is in alignment with love. And when it's not, you stop and you go, oh, okay, I'm scared right now. Let me look for a reason to feel better. Even just a little. We're not talking big jumps, remember. Even just a little bit better. Does that help, Carolyn? Oh, Nicole, see you later, dear. Kimmy says, I love the colors behind the background tree. I know, right? They're just, it's so rich. I'm doing fairies from nature using leaves. Yeah, absolutely. I like to try those colors. I hope so. Try them out. Michelle needed this today. You're welcome. You are most welcome. All right, what else you guys want to know? It is an Ask Me Anything. Other than, I mean, we're getting guidance no matter what, because, well, that's kind of what we do here at My Lives. But yes, other than personal need questions, but those can come up too, I guess. Tammy Jo, I finished a little fairy yesterday made from nature. Oh, for your intuitive grandchildren. Jennifer, do you have a particular way you meditate? I do. When I first started meditating, I set a timer for 20 minutes. This was in 1986. Oh no, not 86, 88. It's the year I bottomed out and committed to meditating every day. And by bottomed out, I was miserable. So I'd spend 18 minutes thinking and 2 minutes of this blissful peace. And that 2 minutes was all I needed to keep me coming back every day, because it was really difficult at first. And I didn't have anything I focused on. I simply was watching my thoughts and allowing them to flow, recognizing when I was attaching or obsessing about a particular one, then letting it go, and then kind of coming back into myself. It wasn't the easiest process, but a couple years later, I was introduced to meditating to music, and that has been my primary meditation. At the same time, it was in unison. I was being taught how to meditate on the chakras and also listening to music. I didn't need to listen to the music to do it. But when I met my first spiritual teacher, he taught us a chakra meditation. And so it ends up that in my work with my energy reading, when I do energy reading and healings for you guys, I'm using the same 3 chakras that he taught us to meditate on. So he taught us to meditate on at the belly area right around the navel, so tapping into both the 2nd and 3rd chakras at the same time, and the root a little bit too, and then the heart, and then the 3rd eye. And he said, but if you're having difficulty on any, if you only have enough to focus on one chakra, do the heart, because we've all heard of power trips, which is what the 3rd chakra is about, and we've all heard of head trips, but we've never heard anything bad about a heart trip. And so he encouraged that if there was only one chakra that we were going to meditate on, then that would be the heart. And so I've predominantly been meditating on my heart chakra for the last 20 years, maybe 30 years. Yeah, 30 years. For the last 30 years, it's been predominantly heart chakra. I can do the other ones as well. And then in the last few years, since finding Insight Timer, I really love the music tracks that the composers on IT make. They're just, I have so many favorite composers, and they just send me somewhere. I just have the most deep, profound meditations. And these days, unless I'm obsessing about somebody or something, unless I'm upset, I'm really grateful that not grateful. I'm just full of joy and appreciation that my meditations are so deep and so smooth. And I think that that's been able to help open me up to like the counsel and to helping other people. Melinda was wondering if you ever have a situation and aren't to connect with the guides. Can you say that again? I was wondering if you ever have a situation and aren't to connect with the guides or spirit, maybe because of energy of the particular person asking for guidance. Aren't able. I thought maybe there was a missing word there. I do have a couple tracks on chakras. Yeah, they're deep stillness meditations. It's a chakra touch meditation where we use different chakras to connect with the stillness associated with each. So yes, I do have those, Thomas. Melinda, I will answer your question in a second. Jennifer, thanks. Craig, there's so much beautiful music to meditate to. I'd love to do that, but I'm a newbie compared to you. My dear, don't even compare. Time's not real. You could tap into all the same energies right now. Look at me. I've been doing this over 30 years. And sometimes that feels like a long damn time, and other times it feels like a drop in the bucket. So please don't compare. If you want to try something, just do it. If you want to talk to your guides, just try it. Maybe find a meditation about that. I might have one someday. Who knows? So try not to compare. I can recommend certain music tracks that I love if you want. Able to connect, yeah. Oh, you're not still driving. Okay, good. Hi, Robert. Oh, just listening to this open and authentic conversation. You're welcome. So, Melinda, this is a really good question. I have had experiences in the last year since working with this stuff and with you guys, where I've not been able to connect with the person's energy very well. So let's say you guys are asking for a reading on something. Depending on where that person's at, I can feel that there's a couple different experiences. So like if I'm doing an energy reading and I'm tapping into your chakras and you're in a place and I can sense that there is just way too much to unpack in 10 or 15 minutes, and so much to unpack that you really should be having a private, like you really shouldn't be asking, not shouldn't, but if you're really wanting to transform a certain block, I can feel that there's just a lot there that needs very loving and very gentle and very consistent attention, that a live stream is just not the right environment for. I can feel that. I can also sometimes feel when somebody is so resistant that there's very little I could even share from source, and then I can just basically throw a couple tips their way, and hopefully that is of service to them. Sometimes I feel sad about that because, in my heart, I want to help as many people as I can, but I also recognize and know, I've known this for a long time now, thanks to having sponsored people in 12-step programs, that you can't help everybody. I want to, but you can't. In terms of connecting with spirit, there have been times when I personally have not felt like I connect with the guides at all. Sometimes I'll go on a walk and I'll be like, hi guides, how's it going? And I feel a little bit of energy, but I'm just not in the right place. And maybe I'm scared or worried, or maybe I'm upset with a misunderstanding or an interaction, or I'm feeling disconnected myself. And other times they just rush right in and I get that connection again. So yeah, there's plenty of times where I'm just not feeling able to do that. And I think then the other thing about readings, there's sometimes that I feel like someone will ask a question and I'll feel their intention and I'll feel the energy behind it. And maybe I said this already, but maybe I'm saying it a different way. I just sense that they're not ready for the answer. And that's okay. We're all at different places on our journey, at different times of the day, at different times of our life. And there's times when we all, myself included, every teacher, if any teacher is never admitting this, I personally would be a little concerned. But, because for me, the greatest teacher is life. Really, it's not other people, it's life. But, we all as humans on a spiritual journey, we all bump up against the grist of life. We all have those moments where we're just not ready to hear the answer. And that's okay. It doesn't mean the answer's not coming. That answer's always coming. That answer's always available. It's us who's not ready. And so then it becomes our task to find ways to open up and be ready. What would be great, Jennifer? Melinda says that makes sense. What a fascinating live today, Joey says. You're welcome. Oh, thanks for sharing your abundance with me, Joey. I really appreciate it. let's celebrate love and abundance together. Speaking of celebrate love, our next Celebrate Love party is coming up really soon, September 4th. It's a Wednesday, 2 p.m. Check out my teacher link for it. It is a beautiful, transformative, and powerful Zoom event that I'm holding every month for you guys. Everybody's invited. It's donation-based, and you do have to register for it, because otherwise you can't get the Zoom link. But it's really cool experience, and I just put up the replay from the Sacred Energy Journey we did in the August one. So if you want to get a taste of what it would be like before you sign up, go check out my YouTube, which is also at my teacher link, and look for the, what did I call it? Joanne, do you remember what I called it? What did I call it? What did I call it? The Journey Through the Three Facets of Love, which I just uploaded the other day to Insight Timer as a track. I'm hoping that it gets approved and published soon. Oh, sharing my favorite meditation music. I will do that. I'll tell you what, Jennifer. Join our group on Insight Timer, the Circle of Love, and I will recommend some stuff from my bookmarks. Kimmy says, when life gives us challenges, do you have a go-to? I do. I have a lot of go-tos. The first is meditation. And the other is acknowledging where my energy's at. If I need rest, if I need relaxation, if I need recreation. For me, as my the type of person I am and my energy type, which I happen to be a projector in human design, but just regardless of that label, my energy type is the type that I need to acknowledge how I'm feeling, and I need to take care of myself. And that may mean, despite all the mental pressure from society or otherwise, or myself, which is really where most of the pressure comes from, despite all that pressure, that might mean taking a long nap that afternoon, or it might mean taking a long walk, or it might mean taking an extra meditation, or it might mean calling a friend, or it might mean sitting down and playing one of my video games, simply because I want to be in a place of a space of enjoyment, a space of fun, a space of seeing things differently. It might mean hopping on IT and trying to find a live that I resonate with. There's a lot of go-tos, and sometimes when all of those don't work, the simple go-to is to sit in the shit. I sit in the shit and I acknowledge it, and I understand that for that moment, I just need to be present with it. And I know that by being present with it as best that I can, which is not perfect, but by being present with it, by being willing to be present with the ick, then I can find and identify the thought that's causing it, or what I'm focusing on that's causing it. Because it's never outside of ourselves, friends. It is never, ever. I don't care how much you think it's happening outside of you, or coming from someone else, or coming from some situation, or coming from our parents or our ancestors, or anything from the past, present, or future. That's not how life works. Life works from the inside out. And so our perspective is key. And so I know when I'm in the pot, so to speak, or in the dumps, it's because of what I'm focusing on. It's what I'm thinking about. It's not because of the life situation. It's because of me. I take responsibility and ownership for it. And in doing that, I take my power. I take my power back, and I realize that I have power over what I think. And when I start to feel better, I realize I'm finding a better way to think on things. So that's my biggest go-to. I have a lot of go-tos. Hi, Melinda. I was just scrolling back over the comments. I wasn't able to type early because I was trying. Oh, okay. Yes, very good. Joanne, sorry, had my legs up the wall, but yes, that was what you called it, and it was brilliant. Yeah, so check out that. journey through the 3 facets of love. If you want to get a feel for what the Celebrate Love Party will be like, if you enjoy it, if you find value from that, that's on my YouTube, by the way. It'll be out as a track, a free track on Insight Timer as soon as they approve it. Let's hope they approve it, because it's really, really powerful. That's an example of the kind of journeys that I do. I do most of the journeys now through Zoom events. But if you like that, sign up for the Celebrate Love Party. If you really liked it, check out my Patreon. I do a monthly deep dive, energetic deep dive there with the members. Just something to mention. But anyways, yes, please come to the Celebrate Love Party. It's a blast. What else you guys want to know? Oh, other announcements while I'm forgetting. The next live is tomorrow at 2. We're doing the readings. And then I'm busy all next week. I'm teaching other Insight teachers how to use software to make their streams more beautiful, like I do. So all of my normal live streams, I'm going to be those times I'm spending with our fellow teachers. So I will not be live for you guys next week, although I will be visiting with Violet 108 on Thursday at her live. We're doing another collab, one of her Ask Her guides. We're doing her scripting. So you can come check us out then on Thursday at Violet 108's profile. Sitting in it can be powerfully healing, but it takes courage. It does. And it takes just willingness. It takes a lot of faith too. Kimmy says, thank you for sharing, Greg, but remember to reach out, as we will always return our love. Oh, thank you, Kimmy. It's hard sometimes to reach out. I acknowledge it's hard for me sometimes. Jennifer says, you're an amazing teacher, Greg. Really love this session. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. It's actually fun. I love doing these monthly AMAs. Melinda did have a question for me already. I think she'd already asked about not being able to connect to the guides in spirit. Other questions, my friends? We're closing in on the end of our live. Although you know what? I might go a little long today if you guys have more questions. I'm having fun. You having fun? I'm having fun. What else do you want to know? Favorite food? That's like asking my favorite color. There's just so many. Yes? My favorite food is yes? My favorite food is yes. I'm a goof. My favorite food. I know, right? Yeah. My favorite food. You know, I was even scared of food for a while. Until I made friends with it. I made friends with food. Me, 20 years of a food addiction 12-step program, and I made friends with food, and that was crazy. Anyways, my favorite food right now, I could tell you my favorite juice, pineapple juice. Pineapple juice is my all-time favorite juice. In fact, it is so much my all-time favorite juice that when I was traveling in Europe, I learned how to ask for pineapple juice in every language for whatever country that I was in. And so now my German, my German consists of Hallo, Dankeschön, Bitteschön, and haben Sie Ananasaft, which is, do you have pineapple juice? That's the extent of my German. Bye, Jennifer. See you. Good to see you again. Much love to you. I love pineapple juice. And did you know that it has digestive enzymes in it that helps you digest things? I mean, that's another reason to love it, but just purely, I just love pineapple juice. One of my other favorite foods right now is rice. Love rice. Absolutely love rice. In terms of a food, like a meal type, burritos are one of my favorite meals. And wraps. I love wraps. Put just like bunch of salad fixings in a tortilla or a lavash or something like that and make it into a wrap. I love that. Burritos and wraps kind of go together. What else is a favorite type of meal? My German speaking was good, Inga. Thank you very much. I try. but that's all I know in German. Pineapple juice is great for singers? I didn't know that. Anti-inflammation properties too? Wow. I need to get more pineapple juice. I haven't had any in a while. I can't think of. I do love sushi. I used to be scared of sushi, and then somebody taught me how to eat it when I was 29 or 30, and now I love sushi, but I don't eat it a lot. I love food. I'm very conscientious about what I put in my body, right now I'm really loving brownie bites. Oh my God. I found these brownie bites. I have to be careful because I could binge on them. But they're just so delicious. I love brownies. I love brownies a lot. I like chocolate. Kimmy says, Greg, do you use smells or other things to appeal to your senses? And pineapple juice is the best for Thai cooking. I do not use smells or other things to appeal to my senses. I have a very sensitive sniffer. I've found over time that I can smell things better than most people, but 9 times out of 10, that sensitive olfactory nerve is my ability to smell when food's going bad and needs to be thrown out. It doesn't always work, but if the fridge is closed, sometimes I can smell it. So it's not the most enjoyable thing. So I'm not very olfactory oriented. I'm much more visual and audio oriented in terms of the senses, I guess. And then whatever this is, oratorially oriented. PETA is new to burritos and loves them. Favorite country, place visited outside the US. All right. I have my favorite place in Europe so far, because I have not been to all the places I want to be. My favorite place in Europe is in Italy, and it is called Cinque Terre, the 5 Earths. It's near the Italian Riviera, but it's its own. I love it there. I absolutely love it there. Another favorite place is pick any Greek isle. I probably love that. And I'm probably going to love the Canaries. In terms of the U.S., Hawaii has probably been one of my favorite places. And then I loved Tahiti. Tahiti was just absolutely beautiful. But there's so many beautiful places. It's kind of hard to, I'm not a just pick one person. That's not who I am. What's my favorite live stream type? Yes. I'm not a pick one. But I love these questions. Joanne was wondering about when you were at rock bottom, were there no close family around? Joanne, I appreciate that question. So I've been at rock bottom a couple times. And the biggest one was when I started my spiritual journey. So it was 1988. I was living in Rochester, New York, and I was dating a woman from New York City. And we were both addicts. And her dad was in a program for food addiction, and she saw mine. And even though she was an addict, she staged an intervention and tried to get me to talk to him. And I just wouldn't have it. So she broke up with me, and I was absolutely devastated. I cried my eyes out for 3 days straight. My sister was around at that time, but very not in a place where I felt that I could turn to her. So I turned to close spiritual friends that I had at the time and was eventually able to get some help. But I've never been, this might be surprising, but I have never been into family. I'm not very much of a family person. I'm very close to my brother and sister and my cousin now. But even today, it's the people who have been my family have always been my spiritual family, the people that I've always turned to, because I grew up with my family teasing me when I talked about a girl that I liked. I did not feel very supported by my family. And so I grew up and evolved, and when I became an adult, I didn't entirely trust that my family would understand me. And even to this day, as I'm growing, as I work with you guys and do more lives and keep answering the call, I feel like I'm someplace and going someplace that that maybe my brother will understand, but I'm not sure the rest of the family will understand because of where they're at. And so there's a sadness with that. Being honest, there's a sadness with that. But then the flip side of that is you're all here with me now. And we're just getting closer and closer every time we get together. And when we get on Zoom, we're going to get even closer. And the more stuff that we do on Insight Timer and the rest of the world. I mean, so I'm building the family/community that I want. So it's a really good question. There's a little sadness there. Family has been way more supportive in the last 12 years than they were for the rest of my life. But there's still that sort of gap that I perceive, which is probably not real. Tacos. Yes, Linda. I like tacos, but I like burritos better. Do you have a daily routine? I do, I wake up. It starts with waking up. I wake up in the morning. And then what I like to do right now is I go for my walk. As long as it's not too hot out. Then I come home and I eat breakfast. I shower or do hygiene care. And then I come in and I meditate in my room to beautiful music. And sometimes if I need more rest or if I feel the meditation really deeply, after about 20 or 30 minutes of sitting like this, I will then lay down my bed and I'll drop in deeper and I'll get a little bit what I call like a napitation. It depends on how I'm feeling physically. And then that's the foundation for my day. From there, I just go off into the rest of the day. But that starts my engine. It gets me going. Some days I wake up in the morning and I do not feel that great, or I'm just out of it. But by the time I've done all that stuff, and I enjoy my food very much right now, I feel me again. I feel connected. Sometimes while I'm on my walk, as I've mentioned, I talk to the guides in the council and see if they have any information for me. Robert, get a cold pressed juicer. It takes the experience to a new level. Oh, Robert, now you're really talking. Holy crap. Kimmy, Greg, if you are auditory, what frequency do you prefer? Yes, all of them. I don't have a preference in terms of, you mean like hertz, like this one, 999? I like all of them. I don't know why. Peter, you'd love tropical North Queensland. I think I would. Secretly, I might want to come visit all of you someday. In fact, I need to go somewhere new come October. So if anybody wants me to visit, let me know. Because I'm not staying in Utah. It's only a temporary thing. Let's see. Peter Brooks, so interesting that you were new to burritos. I grew up in California. This is what Melinda says. And now I'm in New Mexico, and it was so much a part of our food. It's fun to hear about someone just discovering them. Oh, it is, isn't it, Melinda? I love that. They really are the bomb. And they're so cool because you can put anything in them. And you can have rice or not. You can have beans or not. You could put salad, like spinach in. You could do whatever. Burritos are like the universal everything. Breakfast burritos. I love breakfast burritos. I eat breakfast burritos every morning. Let's see. Kimmy says you've done a 12-step program. Is there one important step that resonates? It scrolled. You have so much courage. Thank you. I don't follow the steps anymore, Kimmy. But I would say the most powerful steps for me were the 3rd step and the 12th step. So the 3rd step is about surrendering my will, getting out of my head and following source, is the way I say it now. And the 12th step is about having had a spiritual awakening. We went out and were of service to others. So those 2 are my most powerful. Good question. What else? Melinda said, I thought that you once said your brother had been meditating even longer than you have. Is that true? I don't know if he's been meditating longer than I have, but he actually teaches Buddhism, like a blend of Buddhism and Christianity, and he's ordained in Thich Nhat Hanh's. I forget what he's an ordained member of Plum Village or something like that. I forget how that is expressed with Thich Nhat Hanh's group. But I don't know if it's been longer. I mean, he's 2.5 years older than me. I don't know. We've never compared notes on that, Melinda. That's an interesting question. Kimmy says, family. I'm a child of the universe. Really, us too. Yeah, absolutely, my dear. Joanne, that's so interesting. My family was always close, but since my parents have gone, not so much. And since I've been at my rock bottom, I've heard nothing from them, which always got to me. But now I'm the same and find family fulfillment from here. Yeah. I mean, there's that whole notion of soul family, right? Or that soul cluster. It's kind of what's going on here. Cindy says, come to how to Niebing in time for the retreat. What is that, Cindy? What's Niebing? Is that the retreat you were talking about with Peshma? I don't know where Niebing is. Write to me. Let me know. I need to be somewhere warm this winter, though. So if you are living somewhere cold in the winter, sorry, I'm not visiting. I'm sorry. My body loves the heat, period. It just loves to be warm. Not the heat, not super hot. I mean, I'm done with winters. I'm welcome there, Joanne. Get out. Aw, that's cool. I'll price a train ticket. No, I'll price a flight ticket and see what it's like. Where are you? Auckland? Are you in Christchurch? Where are you? Em says, thank you for sharing your story and your gifts, Greg. So grateful I found you here. I appreciate you very much. Em, you are welcome. I'm so glad you're here with us. Please do come back, stick around, enjoy the show. Who knows what virtual background I'll have tomorrow, right? Maybe I'll look up find a new one for you guys. Joanne, I really appreciate that invitation. I will talk to you about that more. And I'm glad your husband agrees. What else? Melinda, I would think that would be someone you could really connect with and would understand you. My brother has been very understanding of me as of late. So he and I are probably a little closer than my sister and my cousin. And this is just my perspective. But I feel like my sister and my cousin have a stronger tendency to get caught in their minds a lot. They're very much into medical and science and stuff like that. And while that is also really wonderful and not necessarily exclusive from spirituality, I'm just not at that same place. So it's, for me personally, it's sometimes difficult to understand, just because I perceive things differently, and there's just a lot of suffering on their parts that I can relate to emotionally, but don't know what else other than to just be a loving presence, you know. But in terms of sharing me and what's going on and what's happening in my life, it's very easy to talk to my brother. So that feels really, really wonderful. I mean, he has his own challenges too, but I do feel very understood and supported by him right now, which is really, really super cool. What else are you guys saying? Niebing is next to Lake Superior. Oh. Thomas, are you going to the retreat? Are you going to Cindy's retreat? Soul Connection is fabulous. Absolutely, Joanne says. Yay, mid-September. You're in Auckland. I don't remember where that is, but I'll look it up. See, I should know some of my geography better. Kimmy, how did you learn about chakras? I learned about chakras from my very first spiritual teacher, who was what I consider an enlightened Buddhist master, but he was very conventional. He taught me about mandalas and mantras, yantras, chakras. In fact, I think I had probably heard of chakras, but in his chakra meditation that he started to teach us how to use the chakras as a focus for meditation, that's kind of where I first really tapped into them. Fall equinox. Thank you, Melinda. I'm glad I can talk to my brother too. I should look into what, Melinda? The retreat? I don't feel that that's the direction that I'm going. Auckland is top of North Island near New Zealand. Oh, so it's the warm spot. Biggest city in NZ. New Zealand, and most international flights land there. Oh, okay, cool. Where's Susan Sage? Is he in Christchurch? I can't remember where Susan lives. It'd be fun to visit Susan. I also was asking someone who lives in Southwest Ontario. Oh, okay, you guys are talking about the retreat. Hand drums, going into sweat lodge ceremony, making magic wands, and creating medicine wheel on the ground. Very cool. I hope that you guys have fun with that. All right, my friends, my energy is waning. In other words, I'm a little bit tired. This was a blast. This was super fun. We'll take one more question. Hi, Samia. Miigwech. That is her special. That's your name, right, Cindy? It's your special Native American name. I don't want to go north, Melinda. Oh, miigwech means thank you. Oh, I love that. What's next for me, Kimmy? It's almost 4. I'm a little warm because it's hot in the room. We got 82 degrees here and the computer's been on, so I'm probably gonna cool off a little, take a short nap, and then I have a phone call to make regarding a job. Yes, I think I'm making that this afternoon. And I'm actually saying no to it, but presenting an alternative idea, and we'll see if this gentleman has any opportunities in that regard. And then after that, it's supper and playtime. I've got a big night on my video game tonight with my friends from that game, and just having fun and chilling. And I might do a couple more. Oh, I have to put the video from this up. Yeah. So I'll probably do that. After I cool off, I'll probably do that next. So that's what's next to me. For me, Kimmy. Peter so loved today's session, Greg and friends. Oh, I'm so glad, Peter. I did too. It was really, really fun. Samia, how do we all live in the heart more? I had a very good answer for that earlier, so I encourage you to check out at my teacher link, the YouTube. It'll take about an hour or so today. I'm on the low energy side, so it might take a little bit longer than an hour to upload it to my YT. Otherwise, I'd love to answer that question, but I don't have enough energy to answer that right now, sadly, Samia. So please come back or check out. You might find one of my tracks helpful. Check those out. Check out the other teachers here. They might have a track as well that could be helpful. And all of my replays from my lives are up there. There might be, this is a topic we talk about a lot, so there might be something you find insightful there as well. Let me see if I can give you a simple answer. How do we all live in the heart more? Just feel. Stop becoming dependent on what you think. That's the short answer, which is really an insufficient answer, but it's the short answer. Feel. Emotions are our superpower. You may not be an emotional person, and that's okay, but you still have emotions. I'm an emotional person. I've made friends with them. Cindy's spirit name is Standing Strong. I love that. All right, Cindy, see you later. Thanks for being here. Oh, John, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Everybody, John's a teacher. Check him out. What do you do, John? Do you want to just type a little blurb? Any teacher, Joy, if you're still here, feel free. And Cindy, did you go? Just to tell us a little bit, short little blurb in chat so people know, kind of get a sense so they can follow you or check you out. Feel free to do that, please, before we exit out for the live. Rosie, I'm so glad you enjoyed. Thank you so much. Thank you, Kimmy. I love having you here. You didn't. No. There was a lot of questions, and it's good. It's good to be a little tired. I started the day a little tired. All right, Inga, take it easy, my dear. Feel better. Hope your next week goes good. Making friends with the feels. That's the trick, Samia. Yeah. I don't have any pineapple juice in the house, Peter, but I think I'm gonna get some tomorrow. One of my favorite drinks is from the company called Naked, and they make a smoothie called Pina Colada, and pineapple and coconut together. Kind of my absolute favorite. John is an energy healing practitioner. Check him out if you're looking for more energy healing, my friends. Do it. He's such a nice man. I really like his vibe. I like your vibe, John. Joy, are you still here? You're welcome, Em. Thank you, Linda. Bye, Joey. What are those? Are those eyeballs? What are the? Oh no, those are smiley faces. All about the vibes. You're gonna love it here, Samia. All about the vibes. And Kimmy's got all the colorful hearts. I love that. All right, my friends, I'm going to send you out to the outro. Thank you so much for being here today. We'll see you tomorrow for Readings Extravaganza, where you get to pick the reading type that you want. Either an energy reading, where I read your chakras, or an oracle card pull, or a channeled message from who knows where or who knows what. Thanks so much for being here. This was a blast. We're going to do this every month. I don't know when we're going to do it in September, but maybe we'll do it. I don't know. We'll find out. Yeah, and check out my teacher link for any other things I have going on. I will not be live next week. Sorry. I'm helping all of our fellow beautiful teachers learn OBS. But I will be live again. Let me just look. Looking at the calendar. Can you believe it is the end of August 2024? Like, so much has happened. We had Lionsgate, we had the solar eclipse, so much is going on. So I won't be live next week, and then I have the Celebrate Love Party is September 4th. I will be live again the weekend of September 7th. That feels too long. I don't know. I might throw something in there as I feel it. All right, my friends. Take good care of your hearts. I'm sending you much love and blessings. Be well and have a great weekend. We'll see you tomorrow or at somebody else's live. Bye-bye.